Good evening, good evening. It's Monday. It's not as warm as it was, so I'm a happy chap. And it's season 6, episode 20 of the Plastic Crack podcast. Thank you for joining us tonight. Dom is he's a friends of families do, isn't he?
Where is he?
He's not. I think he said it was a bash for some friends of the family. I don't know, but he's not here. Ken is back though. Ken is back with us. Hello, Ken.
Yo, with the Vimto.
Super sub.
With the Vimto. Oh, top quality drink. Top quality. Can't go wrong with a bit of Vimto. Martin is, as you know, it was meant to be Martin's stream this week, but due to some IT gremlins last week.
Well, after what happened last week and trying to sort that all week, it'd been a bit up and down. So I figured it would be better if Steve took the stream.
Yes. So, and it was Martin that, in case I get any flack for this, it was Martin that suggested a topic.
I was in a bad mood when I picked the topic. So
as you can see, the topic is we're being positive. The benefits of skirmish and grand scale gaming. We don't want the cons or the negatives. We want the positives of two very popular forms of wargaming. So, yeah, looking forward to this. Considering I have one particular dog in this race and not the other. As always, we are sponsored by Boards and Swords Hobbies in Derby. Use the code PCP5 when you're checking out on the web store for an additional 5% off your already discounted order. If there's anything you can't find or anything you need to order in, contact Ian, and I'm pretty sure him and the chaps there will be able to help you out. Big shout out to everyone that's watching on the Catchup. Thank you. Always appreciate it. Links to channels and stuff down below. All that stuff. Like, share, subscribe, hate, comment, shit post. Whatever you want to do, just do it. I'm not gonna put anyone's arm or anyone's back making them do stuff like that. Let's see. Before we do that, how are we, chaps? How are we since last week? How is everybody doing?
Yeah, all right. Bit hot. I now have a 9-year-old. So that was basically the end of my week, and my weekend was entirely taken up.
Tessa's 9.
Tessa is 9. Yes.
Holy shit!
Almost double digit.
So we took her to her and her friends to like a laser quest type thing.
Oh, cool!
You'd love this. So they went in. So Robin, my youngest, ended up going full Rambo. I thought she was going to pistol whip someone at one point. She out of 20, she came 9th, and she was 5 at days. But I paid so that I could go in the second game because we went in. That was great fun. And then Haley, they started playing Run to the Hills as we were running around. So I hadn't had anything to drink, but I definitely had a bit of a buzz going as I rampaged around the laser tag thing, screaming about fighting in the barren wastes. That was I was very easy to find when I was singing along.
That sounds very thematic. I'd pay to have seen that. I bet that was quite the sight to behold.
It was good. No, yeah, it was good, but yeah, not didn't do so much on the wargaming front. Not this week. I've done some painting, but I'll show that in a bit. But not a lot else.
Cool. Ken, how about yourself?
It's been 2 weeks for me, isn't it? So yeah, so I'm every other week at the minute. But yeah, as you can tell, my room's a lot tidier.
Is that your bed for when you're in trouble?
Kind of. It's kind of used for both of us now. But yeah, that's where I go when I'm in trouble. So yeah. But printers were over there are no longer. And I've got a lot smaller desk. Everything is just decluttered completely in this room now. So Laura will actually sleep in here, which is a miracle. So printers are going to go literally here in the corner. Like I said, they're going to be stacked. So I'm all ready for that. I've got I've got an SLA printer now, a new one, a K1 from Creality, and the Saturn 4 Ultra 16K from Elegoo now, because it's just got all the easy things that I can't be bothered to deal with anymore. Like it's got what they called it, bloody heat thing automatically, the bed leveler and the bloody moving thing, and it's just all automatic. That's all that matters now. So I don't have to do anything else. So yeah, happy days. I just got to get the shelves built for that, which won't take me too long. I've got to make them myself, but should be fine.
Has the stash shrunk anymore?
It's shrinking as we speak. It grew a little bit because I bought a few minis, but I managed to paint them, so which is nice. Just painting some just finishing off some Cadians that I'm either going to use as traitor guard or just a different regiment of Cadians. I don't know if anyone can see them. Red.
Oh, nice.
Just a bit different, and blue shoulder pad. I'm going to go over that again. I don't really like how the blues ended up. I'm going to use the pens just to go over it quick, not having to worry about much. So yeah, that's me.
Oh, well, as you know from if you're in the Facebook group, you'll see from Steve Harbour's post that I ventured out at the weekend.
Yeah, I know. Jesus.
I know. So me and my mate went a bit up north to St Helens, a phalanx, and apart from the weather, which was just beyond just horrific. I'm not built for this for heat like that. Yeah, really, really good show. First time I've been. Really good mix of games there. There's some great traders there as well. Picked up a few bits and pieces. Had a thoroughly good day. We escaped about midday because the heat was just becoming unbearable. But yeah, caught up with Steve. Bit of a chat with him. Interrogated him on his purchases. Napoleonics. And hairfoot jousting as well. What else did I see? Oh, Oliver from Shell Shock Scenics bumped into him as well. That was good meeting Oliver. Yeah, great day. Totally recommend it if you're in the local area to just pop across.
Oh, nice.
Hopefully next year won't be as
good show.
It was. I really enjoyed it. Like I said, it was a really good mix of traders there. Some great games. The subject tonight about grand scale game, and there were some massive games being put on. There was a Bannockburn game being played, and it was rather impressive.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Colours and banners all over the place.
I know this is really random. Well, it's not really random. It's what I said I promised last week. I've just remembered it. Sorry, just what I remember.
Yeah.
If you crack on, it's fine. It's all right. Colours and banners all over the place. It's fine. Sorry, mate. I just had something pop in my head then. I've just remembered it. But yeah, that's fine. I'll talk about it in a minute. It's fine. Sorry.
Ken just flashed back to a former life there.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, when he said Bannockburn, I just thought about Braveheart. Just thought freedom, and then it stopped.
So I've only ever seen Braveheart once, and I've never been compelled to watch it again.
I've got to admit, I've watched it a couple of times. I have seen it a couple of times.
Let's not go down this road. Let's
we know it's not historically
Let's quit while we're ahead. It doesn't matter.
It's just
doesn't
fun
matter.
Swords.
We've really good. War bases were there. Sarissa, Warlord. There was I think the Perry sort of sales rep was there, and I saw a guy buying an ungodly amount of Perry plastics. I've never seen the like. It was the pile he was carrying towards the till was almost as big as me. He was certainly stocking up for a project and a half, and I can tell you that.
Did you see what he was actually? Did you see what he's actually trying to buy?
From what? No, they were all Napoleonics, and not that much because he ripped them all from the Napoleonic section. It was a lot of miniatures. Let's put it that way. A lot. All I saw was Turnip 28. But yeah, it was a really good show. I picked up a few bits and pieces here and there that I'll be working on over the next few weeks. But yeah, very enjoyable. And then in the afternoon, we came back here and I introduced my mate to his first ever game of Space Weirdos.
Oh, nice! Did you enjoy it?
Yes, I did.
He loved it. Absolutely loved it. And we're already plotting future games and campaigns based on it. So yeah, really, Bit of a war gaming weekend. It was really good. And then on Sunday, I just spent all day painting because I was too knackered to do anything. Right, let's see who has joined us tonight. So David Baker's here from a nice, cool Cheltenham. He's putting together some US Rangers for bolt action. Good stuff. Andy Sykes, painted 28mm Rampier Brigade with difficulty as I can't find my specs. That's well, I can imagine that's going to be quite a problem. Paul. Hello from Mercia, where the sun is glorious, the cooling wind has swept the swallocks from the land. That sounds very painful. I wouldn't want swallocks swept from my land. More 7-Year Wars Prussians for me. Ham and Jam, what's he painting? Full Metal Miniatures, Cold War British, Pat Neal. A breezy but still hot and humid southeast London, Ancient Greeks, Jeremy Brooks, Nick Dawson. Lionheart is working on some Winter Fallschirmjäger. I've actually got some Winter Fallschirmjäger that I'm waiting to start. But I'm taking a bit of a break from all things bolt action. But they look like really nice miniatures. Traj, hope you're feeling well, mate. He's got the lurgy. And he's worked 74 hours in 5 days. Yeah, that's not good, mate. Hope you're feeling better. Yeah, hope you're well. Catch you next week. Weather mild. All the best, mate. Hope you're feeling a lot better soon. Red Steph is surprisingly working on more epic ACW. What a surprise. Bigger City. Hello, Don. Hope you're doing well. John Sowerby. He's working on found some World War II late war British and German sprues, so kick bashing some stalkers with odd equipment. That sounds really interesting, John. I did post up some progress pictures in the group. I do like the sound of that. I think I kit bashed some late war German stuff with some Deathcore of Krieg. I think that was for Zona Alpha.
Nice.
Never actually got around to painting them. Rich M is working on a Baron's War retinue list. Allard is working on some 15mm German trucks this evening for Chain of Command 2. There was a cracking Chain of Command 2 game on a flank set in the jungle. Absolutely brilliant looking. I was really, really impressed with it. East Norfolk's Andrew JF from a warm and pleasant evening in Kent. 9999 Payden. Good evening, all. Hello, Grant. Rutland Mall, evening, all. Andrew Oates. It's a lovely day here on the west coast of Canada. Finishing Cities of Sigmar Iron Weld cannon for use in Dragon Rampant and then more terrain. Nick Games, Carizet, Dave Benton, Rob Hobden, Mobile Hostel. Speaking of the devil, Steve is here. Hello, Steve. Hope you're doing well, mate. Triarii, hello. All you scallywags, hope you're all tickety-boo. Yes, I've been painting epic pike and shot, rope on rope pikeman. Yes, I might have cracked a little. I can certainly understand why. Adam Kirtley, hey, Shell Shock Scenics, good to meet you. It was really good to be catching up with you on Saturday, mate. Hope you rather randomly bought a galleon. Yeah, it was quite from left field. Alex, I'm a Steel Wargaming, even all painting some more Prussians tonight. Dutch Army painter, Val Hendrickson, Rich John, Carl Burks, Mark Riding, Major Clanger, Martin Hoey. Just got up with last week's podcast. We were in St. Moritz on holiday last week, and my wife insisted on going out for a meal. Oh, the dangers of real adult life. Louis Baby. Staff Smartston, running from a New Zealand, Jack Frost has struck -3. And we're in his car at the moment. And
I'm not going to lie, I'd quite like -3 right about
I'd like -3 at the moment, to be fair. It'd be quite nice. Richard's here from Hull. He's painting some more Wars of the Roses Archers. Camberwell Johnny, Nathan McGowan. The real Steers here. We can all now continue. The real one. Sam Stokes, Paul Crouch, Lionheart. He's not on holiday. He's at a family or friends of family function. He's not on holiday. He's not visiting castles. Sam Rushmere, the Hobby Brush, Dave Kerr, Ferby Viking, Mozart, cold, moist, and windy in northern Sweden. Benjamin Christiansen, Jason B, Andrew Oates. Staying known far and wide for his grand battle games involving veritable legions of weird shit. Yes, I am. That's my thing. Matt Wright, Paul Crouch, Laser Pirate Painting, Old School FRP, Fender General Haig. Hello, Andy. Hope you're doing well. Thanks. Trapped in a hotel room. It's never good. Shake Ocean Sprues. James is in Wales. Never missed an episode live, so popping up with a sketchy signal to say hi. Hi, James. I hope this isn't delayed or anything like that.
No, I think he's on at the minute.
Oh, good. Tyler Counts, evening, a long-time watch on the catch-up due to work schedule, finally getting to watch you all live. Hey, cheers, Tyler.
Hey.
Here in a hot Tennessee, painting a variety of miniatures to clear the painting table. Top stuff. Andy Stocker, Shrink 7. Apparently, the real Steve saw me at Phalanx, but I saw you there, but you were always chatting to someone. Yes, it was quite the chatty day. I spoke to more people on Saturday than I've probably spoke to in the last 6 months. I came home, sounds like Barry White. Snail painting. Hello, boys. You really are like the War Gamers weekly Red Cross parcel. Regards from a sunny West Sussex coast. Hey,
that's
John
the
Hart.
nicest thing that someone said.
It is. It's very nice. What a compliment.
Like thank you.
What a really nice compliment. Thank you.
Thank you. I went on site this morning, and the guy who was greeting us for site definitely wasn't pleased to see us. Absolutely was not.
I bet he wasn't.
There was nothing on his site. He should be pleased. There was nothing there. But then he was sort of like, "Well, what was the point?" It was like, "Well, now we know." Like, what do you want?
Isn't that the whole point, to find out?
You'd think.
Pretty much.
You'd think.
You don't get a refund if you don't find anything.
You'd be surprised what they ask for.
Nathan Fishwick, Dermot
You
Connolly.
would. You absolutely
would. Oh my god.
You absolutely would.
Yeah, put it in my clause in my contract.
Right.
What X amount per square foot refund?
Yeah. Yeah. Work it out. They owe me money. Yeah.
Ewok Kebab, evening folks. Painted USMCs. I found a whole box I'd forgotten about when I did the first 50. I thought it was a pleasant surprise when you find something you've painted lots of. Wargamer of Kent, double dip. Yeah, the galleon, that did surprise me. I really didn't expect anyone to be buying a galleon. Like you said, it's something you've always fancied having a crack at. Mondo is painting lace on grenadiers. What fun. Oh, what fun. What fun indeed. That sounds like more fun than you can shake a big stick of fun at. Go for it painting. And then this point. That's true. It's probably best for the best that Steve and the real Steve didn't actually meet, as it would have caused a rip in the space-time continuum.
Absolutely.
That would have, it would have been quite the meeting. There we are. Big thanks to everyone that's joined us tonight. I'm sure we're gonna have a good chat. Hobby updates. Ken, you got anything to show?
Yeah, I have actually.
Cool. Ken's been busy. Let's have a look.
So I did say that I would show my progress. Where the fuck has it gone? How many pictures you had in mind?
6. I can see you want this one, don't you?
That's the one. So that's the start of the Blood Bowl board.
Cool, brilliant.
So as you can see, there's a nice amount of foam around the outside that's going to get painted over. It's all going to get flocked on the outside. The pitch itself is going to be done, I think, stone with some overgrown weeds. But I've measured all my stuff out. Once the printers are all set up and ready to go, I'll be printing out a stadium to go on it. But yeah, I said I would give an update of how it's going, and there it is.
Brilliant. That's going to look really
Cool.
smart when it's done. I've never played Blood Bowl on a table with a stadium around it. So it's just been the plain board. It's something I've always regretted.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I just think it deserves it. To be fair, I think it adds to the game.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I think if it looks nice, then I'm going to do it. I've got I managed to I finished printing these out as well. So the tiles for my mine's a Moria board. So it's a 1x1 foot Mines of Moria board, 3D printed.
Cool.
So that will be getting painted up as well. So yep.
Cool. So lots of work on the scenery front. I'm looking forward to seeing your progress on the Blood Bowl table. Like I said, Blood Bowl, fantastic game. Always love to see a good setup. So I'm looking forward to that. Yeah. Martin?
Do you know, I'm such a fool, right? I was just trying to work out why my calculator wasn't working, and then I realized it was because it was the lock screen for my code.
Oh dear, you are having one of them days.
Definitely one of those
No,
days.
I'm just adding up points at the minute. So, no, I've had a productive week on the minis front. In fact, I got loads of painting as I was watching last week's stream rather than participating. I got a whole load of painting done, and then I got angry and went to bed at like about 9:30 because I did not have a good time. I have, where are we? So I have finished a Norman warband. Now this is ostensibly for pillage, but you could use it for saga or whatever, any kind of thing where things to be single base. So I did these guys this week. So I did a whole. Now this is for pillage. This is round about 350 gold pieces, which is just over half of what a standard game would be. But you wouldn't need much more in this because you would add in like horsemen, which are crazily expensive. Well, not from the Normans. I think a horseman is 10, 30, put them in armor and shield, 40, give them about 50 points. So you could add 3 horsemen into that, and then a couple more guys would be cool. But yeah, I had fun doing these. I've painted up hundreds of these already, so I'm quite quick at doing them because I did them for the first crusade. So I've got so many bits left over. So I just put these together and had a little bit of fun with them. Some fun with the basing. But yeah, that was good. So
very nice.
I've got just a nice little warband to go and try and kill some Saxons who obviously I did the week before. In fact, they're just up here on this little mobile shelfy thing I've got as I'm working out points. So they're up there. But no, we should be playing a game tomorrow. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this one plays. I'm quite interested in it so far, and there seems to be quite a lot of interest. I did a video just on the exactly. Oh, you'll be happy, Alex. Hang on. So I do. So there's the rule book, right? And then if you, I don't know if this is going to trigger anyone. I apologize now. And then the first bit here, introduction to the early Middle Ages. There we go. That's I thought Alex might appreciate that. Underneath it tries to qualify it by going, this includes the Viking Age, the Dark End, and all of this. But yeah, early Middle Ages. I thought that was quite amusing. But no, there seems to be a lot of people interested in this game, especially if people who come over who've not done historicals before because of its similarities to the Lord of the Rings strategy game. So yeah, I'm keen to give it a go. I mean, I've just in the time since we started, I've just built 2 armies. That's how quick it is to work them out. And I hate list building. I absolutely despise list building. I'm only begrudgingly doing this as well. So yeah, we'll see how it plays.
Cool beans.
Yeah, that's it. So that's what I did.
All right, cool. So last week I was mentioning I bought up that Spearhead box, which is Age of Sigmar, which is Games Workshop, which has surprised quite a few people that I'm painting.
I swear you said you would never buy Games Workshop ever again unless it was epic.
I did, but I've just got no willpower. Plus, I'll be honest. At the moment, I'm a bit burnt out on historicals. So I need a bit of a break from painting historical stuff. So I've got there's 18 figures in the box, and I've painted 11 so far, which is very unlike me.
Wow.
Nice.
So I finished off first one was a unit of 10 plague bearers.
Oh, cool.
Cool.
They are such fun to paint. There's just guts hanging out and scabs and boils and pus and wounds and just really, really just it's been a long time since I've enjoyed painting figures like this. Just a lot of fun to paint. Quite quick as well. Just mainly greens and then lots of pinks and yellows and some metallics. But yeah, I've completed the entire unit, which I didn't think I was going to get through. Not in a week anyway. I did have some time off work last week, which helped. And then there we go. There's the champion and
very cool.
The standard bearer. My only gripe with that is the champion is holding sort of a bunch of heads essentially, and the join between the hand and the wrist is it's a separate hand, and it snapped off a couple of times while I was painting it. It's really quite flimsy. Apart from that, though, the rest of it, the figures are just such a joy they're just so nice to work with. I also finished one of the I think it's called a Blight Lord, I think, or a Blight Knight, or a Blight King. It's a Blight King.
I've got a load of those. Yeah,
that's the first one, and I'm not gonna lie, I spent hours painting this. It's the first time I
have fun.
It's not often I spend long on one individual figure, but there's a fair few hours put into that, and washes and highlights. And when I was at Phalanx on Saturday, I picked up an army painter wash called Rust Tone, and it's absolutely brilliant for painting Nurgle stuff. It's absolutely it's nailed on for Nurgle. It really is. But I've got some more of those to work on. I'm going to be working on this week. Got the treat is the two massive, great big fly things. I'm looking forward to that because they're huge. So I guess it's like when you paint bolt action, do some infantry, and a vehicle is always a treat at the end of it. Although I imagine Martin would disagree entirely with that.
Absolutely.
Vehicles are never a treat.
No, I also put horses in the same category. Any kind of mode of transport.
Yeah, I despise painting horses. I just hate them. I really just do not enjoy painting any form of horse. Give me a tanks, love vehicles. Give me a horse. No, don't like painting horses. I just can't paint them. That's the thing, and they're not my thing at all. World War II spearhead or Great War spearhead. Third option, Age of Sigmar spearhead. Which so Sam did mention, so War Games Atlantic are releasing the rules of death fields at some point. We'll have that featured on the news once more comes out about it. Those plague bearers are disgusting in the best way. They're brilliant. They're all individual as well, and they've all got different bits missing.
There's no doubles.
No, there's one. There's one front torso is a double, but the rest are all different. My favorite one it's got a fly head, and not in the Jeff Goldblum sense of the word. It's that actually looks like a fly. But there we go. That is my what I've been up to. I picked up a few things at the weekend, so I've got some Stargrave automatons. I'm going to be building a Space Weirdos warband out of them. But I also finally picked up the Victrix late war German set.
Oh, you picked up, did you?
Yeah, it was.
What did you think of it in hand?
It's nice? Brilliant. The details. There's so much on each sprue, absolutely packed in. But the best thing is the instruction booklet that comes with it.
Okay.
As in it has instructions. It's not just bodies A1, A2, A3, A4 go with arms, C7, C14, and C9. It actually shows you the instructions for putting these things together, and you get 44 figures in the pack, which full platoon and heavy. You get heavy weapons in there as well. So my plan is to do this as a completely separate army for bolt action. I'm going to actually use 1/48 scale vehicles with them rather than the Warlord Games ones, make them a bit more bigger and realistic. So that's my plan.
Nice.
Right. So, no, Steve, I didn't. I changed my mind at the last minute. It was in front of me. I had my hand upon it, but then I thought, well, I don't need it yet. So I didn't pick it up. Yes, I wish I had done. I almost bought that. There's been something I've been after for ages, and it was in my hand, and I almost bought it. And it's the Ramshackle Church by Renedra. I don't know. Can we conclude that Victrix expects World War II players to be less able to put stuff together? They're still in. There's still quite a few bits and pieces to each figure. They do look quite detailed. I've actually not had a proper look at the. I did a browse yesterday, but I've not really gone into any detail with it. Hopefully later this week. Okay, so everyone done? Right, on to tonight's subject. So the benefits, not the cons or the nastiness or what you don't like about. The benefits of skirmish and grand scale gaming. So I think we've all done a bit of both, haven't we? All of us have done a bit of skirmish game. We've done a bit of grand scale gaming.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would say that's a fair comment.
So let's start off with grand scale gaming. Since if you were trying to sell the benefits of grand scale gaming to somebody who hadn't yet dipped their toe into that particular type of gaming, what would you say for you would be the biggest benefit of selling that to somebody?
Ooh, that's very
Not
good.
the cost.
Yeah, not the cost.
No, it's a joke. Obviously, I
The overall look.
Because yeah, it'd be the visual impact, but also I guess you just one of the things I like about that is the fact you could just throw away units like they're nothing, because it does because you can just remember Zach Brannigan from Futurama. So I throw wave after wave of my stop exploding, you cowards. That's what I love about it is you are dealing with it on a much bigger tactical scale, and therefore you can actually develop quite a big plan. That's not to say that you can't do that with skirmish gaming at all, because obviously you can have a plan. But I like having reserves, and I like having his. But one of the biggest sellers, and I've got friends who have no Napoleonic collections, for example, and they love it when I put on a Napoleonic game. They still think it's one of the best sights you can see on the wargaming table is mass Napoleonic armies of any scale. They just look fantastic. So one of the big benefits is going to be the visual impact of the game. It looks like a battle. It looks like a big battle. So
looks like the dog's bollocks.
I actually agree with that. I think from a visual aspect, if you were sort of trying to sell either skirmish gaming or small scale skirmish gaming to large sort of grand battle scale, I think visually, it's impressive. It looks good, especially when you've got flags and the bright colours and just row and row, wave upon wave. I think it does. It visually you can't beat it. I've always said with a Napoleonic battlefield with figures, it's one of the best things you can see on a wargaming table. And I think that goes a long way into selling the benefits of that to particularly potentially new players. That it looks striking. It looks visually striking. Which I don't think you would get that, especially not with the skirmish level games that I play, sort of really small scale ones. Visually, I don't think you'd get that sort of same oomph factor.
Well, I think that the visual benefit on skirmish games is the board.
Yes,
that's not. No, I'm not saying the board on the ground on large, playing, big big unit games is they're not spectacular, because they absolutely can be. But you often find that the terrain in the skirmish game is more. Well, a lot of time things like interiors are done. People put lights all over it, like you did. Multi-level games like Necromunda and Mordheim and all that kind of stuff. They absolutely, they can look visually striking in that way. Plus, you can kind of, some of the characters, individual miniatures, you can spend a little bit more time on, or people like to spend more time on. When they're painting them up, so especially like for example Bushido, you've got some like lovely looking miniatures having a one-on-one fight. If you're painting up 96 men to go in a pipe block, you paint them to a certain standard and you move on, because it's about the visual impact of it as a mass. Unless you're James Wilkinson, yes, yeah,
man paint.
Yeah, but then the sizes of battles change by period because medieval battles, for example, aren't massive. Like Tewkesbury and Barnet in the Wars of the Roses. Barnet's probably one of the biggest battles in the Wars of the Roses, and you're probably looking at I don't know, maybe like 8,000-9,000 a side. That's not a lot when you compare it to say Napoleonic battles, American Civil War battles, stuff like that. But it's still a grand scale, for that time period, because that's the amount of mass. So yeah, it's recreating those battlefields. It's the visual look, but for both. But I mean, I think it's models on if you're playing a skirmish game and you don't have a lot of terrain, it can end quite quickly, can't it, Ken? If
it ends quickly, yeah.
Yeah, it can. 100%.
No, because whenever I play, I play most of my small skirmish on sort of 2x2, 3x3 tables, always full of terrain. But there's never more than 12 figures on the table. Most of the time, there's 8. So, is that a benefit? For me, the benefit is I can quickly paint up a war band or a gang or something like that to play in a small skirmish game. It's not going to take me long. I do get to spend a bit more time on the individual figures. Like when I was painting all the figures and the scenery for Space Waders at Crackcom a couple of years back, I spent more time on that than on painting the individual figures and doing the scenery than I've spent on a lot of projects. So again, another benefit for me, I think this is a big one across everyone's sort of path is time and space. I think the biggest one for a benefit of skirmish gaming for me. I'm not blessed with massive amounts of space. So playing a game on a 2 foot by 2 foot or 3 foot by 3 foot mat, easy to do. I can do it in a couple of hours. Can get sometimes more than one game in. It doesn't take long to set up, and you can fly through. Like when I played with my mate on Saturday, he'd never played Space Weirdos before at all, and that was at 2:00. And by half 4, we'd finished the game. He'd learnt the rules pretty much inside out. He'd learned how to create a war band. Buy your stats, buy your weapons, buy your equipment, get your traits, all done by half 4. And he went away from that game now knowing how to play Space Weirdos. It's just, for me, that's a benefit that it wasn't. We didn't have a massive amount of time in the afternoon. So yeah, just a quick pick up and play, quick learning game, and he walked away fully conversant with the rules, which is just for me is a massive benefit, massive bonus to skirmish gaming.
Yeah, I mean, I think we discussed this before, and it probably falls under that, which is obviously it entirely depends on the rule set. Because I've played skirmish games that last a long time, and I've played mass battle games that have been over into like Midgard is over pretty quick. Soldiers of Napoleon, that doesn't last ages either. And to be fair, we've played Black Powder in an evening, haven't we, Ken? So we just chat a lot. It's hard also if you're filming it, you don't get like a true sort of idea of how long it takes. But with skirmish. I mean, I guess the thing is well, for example, look, so I downloaded a couple of pictures because I guess also you're trying to reflect the warfare, because I was thinking about this. And the whole early Middle Ages, Dark Age, blah blah blah, whatever thing, which is obviously the predominant form of warfare at any point. Sons of Napoleon last longer if you form square. Again, I quote: "Squares are for chumps." Squares are for chumps. So my little thing for each time in the Napoleonic period: squares are for chumps. I got cannons are for exploding. That's the Wars of the Roses ones. Yeah, and I'm sure I'll find something else. But what was that? I forgot what I was saying. That was it. If we're talking like say the Viking, period, there aren't that many big pitched battles. There are. Don't get me wrong. There are some. There's some quite famous, like the Battle of Malden. But there aren't there aren't like a huge number of them. Predominantly warfare at that point's a bit more sporadic and smaller, and genuinely involves somebody attacking someone else's farmstead and nicking their shit, and then carting it off, and then reprisals. There's quite a few sort of attacks on towns. So like a game like this is a game of Saga that Robin and I had. I went back through my photos. So this was a game of Saga that we had, which I think we had about 40-50 models aside, something like that. And that lasted probably 2 to 3 hours while filming it. And we had a perfectly, the mechanics of Saga are obviously slightly fantastical. Your berserkers can hurt themselves to get more dice. My Anglo-Danes can just make people tired by looking at them. It played very differently. Whereas now, if you compare that to say this, which is the last Wars of the Roses game I played, which was against Robin and Matt, and we were using the rules. Obviously, you get a very different feel, but both games lasted about the same amount of time. So, but the benefit is that look, is that sort of visualization of a big battle. This again probably isn't wholly dissimilar to the size of the battles that actually probably went on at that period. Does that make sense? I was trying to. Yeah.
Do you think that if you were to say someone historical war game, do you think that's the type of game that springs to mind for most people? Is that the big grand pitch battle?
Yes, because I was watching a channel the other day who was reviewing a game, and they started the video by saying, "This game is a historical war game. Don't worry, it's not that kind of historical war game," which instantly irritated me.
Not that kind.
It went not that kind, and then they went on to say, we're not talking like Napoleonic troops, and then no, there's nothing wrong with that, and then quick qualifying statement, and they went on, and their video that they were doing the rules about was actually very good. I'm not going to sort of say who it was or anything like that. It was just it's just the way they went. It's a historical war game, but don't worry, it's not that type of historical war game. I was like watching this video, going, what? Why? What are you talking about? And that's because I think they were obviously catering it towards people who like coming into historicals, and there's that idea that that we've talked about it many times, that the fuddy duddies around the table, the chart checking,
the gatekeeping,
counting,
those people,
So,
I mean, why
I think that is what people think.
But why would that put people off? I mean, visually,
because I think I think visually, Dave. I think most people visually will say that looks awesome. So if you're walking around Salute, you can see a lot of like people who don't play historical war games, and they'll look at them and go, "That's visually impressive." And I think I do feel there's an intimidation to get it to do it. I do. I think people look at it and just go, and they just convince, and they straight away they convince themselves, like, I can't do that, and then they don't try. But the whole point is you get them involved, and we talk again. That's going slightly off topic about how to get them involved and building up things, maybe a brigade at a time. And that, I mean, Ken went from playing 40k to bolt action, which both of which is still, in my opinion, and then the next thing he was bought a massive French army, which he's sold. I
haven't sold it. Still got it.
Oh, good.
I didn't get
it. But do you remember? I've got the battle report. The first time, because you come around mine and we played Black Powder, and you'd painted one battalion. He'd only painted one. And if you go back and watch that video, I think it's about my maybe 5th or 6th Black Powder one, and he's standing. And we're only using 2-3 brigades, and he was going, look at all these minis. Look at all these minis. That's what he said at the start. That video got delisted because of the amount of swearing Ken. So I had to.
Oops. Apologies. Sorry, not sorry.
But again, so Ken, when your progression then from sort of 40k bolt action size games to bigger Napoleonic games, what did you personally find the benefits of those size games were or are?
That's a really good question. For me, it was more the fact of I love the aesthetic look of having like all those miniatures and recreating like battles that I'd never would have dreamt of being able to see in real life, and being able to see an overview of it, just a small snippet, may it be just the amount of people, I guess, just the amount of figures on the table, really. Because when I think about it, when I play, I'm very much along the line of now. I'm very much along the line story driven. So for me, I get personal investment in characters or in units that do well or units that do bad even. So yeah, for me, it's just that whole aesthetic look, I'd say, for the larger scale battles, for the amount of figures that are on a table, to make it comparable to, say, the real thing, or if it's a fantasy game or a historical, sci-fi game, the lore. So like you'd have hundreds of guardsmen, you wouldn't just have 10. You'd have hundreds and hundreds of guardsmen and maybe one or two marines, or hundreds of guardsmen in a custodian or something like that, just so you can do it. Definitely just the visualization of it. The thing is, for me as well now, skirmishing for me is definitely probably going to be like probably my mainstay of playing solo, will be skirmishing. But now I've got the Hell Caesar box from Epic painted up there, so I can play that as well. I've got the ACW painted up as well for Epic, and at the moment I'm getting all three of the Napoleonic. Well, the British one's nearly finished, and I've got the Prussian and the French boxes being painted as well. So I'll be able to do larger games as well. I'm trying to make it so that I can have it set up probably more, and not have to take it down. I'm still trying to work out how to put a chain winch in this room. So if I could do that, I'm like, fucking days, I'd be in heaven. I would get a divorce probably, but yeah. But it's one of them, Steve, it? Everyone's got their own preferential treatment. It's like I used to really want to just play constantly huge battle games, like all the time. I just wanted to play Black Powder. That's all I wanted to play. I just wanted to get all the battalions I could on the battlefield, all the battalions I could. And now I've gone like the complete opposite. I just want to look at like that Mines of Moria board. Like it's the Fellowship and some goblins facing off. And that to me is really exciting because it's lore driven and story driven. And the same with Blood Bowl, really. Skirmish game. It's one of them lore sort of story driven. I've got 4 teams. I've got 3 painted up already. But it's going to be the case of getting a load of teams, and I want to do a proper, unbiased tournament. So just to see who wins, just going like that.
That's what I love about Blood Bowl. Is that when you start playing in a tournament, the characters start to emerge as they pick up new skills, or even pick up injuries as well.
Exactly.
They do death. Start to do, or death, yeah. No, it's weird. So before I put the stream up, I was actually thinking. So when I first started playing second edition 40k, I was always the one pushing for the bigger games, bigger points. Let's see how much we can get on the
more
table.
Points. How much points?
Yeah, and so we used to spend an entire day playing a game of 40k second edition, and I was always wanting the bigger games. Oh, can you not get one more unit on there, please? It's just the big, huge games. And you fast forward to where I am now, and I'm the opposite. I'm always down with trying to put less and less and less on the table these days, with a smaller playing surface as well. So I honestly don't know what's driven that. I mean, the benefit for me is that I can paint more for skirmish games than I can for sort of big games. Like Martin said, you still see bolt action as a skirmish game, and to a degree, so do I. Especially these with the list building the way it is, you can make really small, compact armies that hit the sort of the 1250, 1500 point threshold, but you get barely any in it. So my file stream again, I've just painted. It's 11 dice and 1, 2, 3. Not many figures at all in it. So I don't think that would be considered a big scale game. I don't think now I would ever get into massive big scale gaming. It just doesn't appeal. And it would take me about 40 years to paint anything for it. Like Dirty Harry said, man's got to know his limitations, and I know my limitations when it comes to gaming and painting. And I need to be,
shit.
I need to be jumping between different things. I'm not focused or disciplined enough to paint for that scale. I wish I could. I really wish I could. I think that's one thing. Having been involved in this community for a number of years now and seeing the games that people put on, the huge games we see being played each year at Crackcom. And sometimes I look back and I do regret that I didn't get involved in that size of game.
I did pull that. Look
at that
game. I mean, but the thing is, you can't see the front sort of third, and also that's after a bunch of models have been taken off. I think when we counted, there was something like 2,500 models on that table. What I love down there, I know James, the Earl of Warwick. But I can't remember. I think this was before he was brutally betrayed by Evil Jim. Some of these guys are coming back for this year for St Albans, so that'll be fun. Oh, I love there is Matt at the background. As he's whole Earl of Oxford was, and him and Sam just had this private war.
Yeah, they just didn't do much. These guys spent a lot of time in the pub.
Well, to be honest, it probably went better, but you can see they pulled the short straw in the umpire down their end. So
Yeah.
that was I found that one because that was a cracking thing. I know what you mean. I slightly disagree. Well, not with disagree, but with and I think that there's a common assumption that mass battle games don't have a story or don't have a arc. Robin and I have played that First Crusade campaign where we're leveling up our leaders. So rather than individual troops gaining things, it's the leaders are gaining abilities, and through them gaining things, they get to dish out. They get to make a unit elite, or they can recruit a better unit, or something bad happens, like they get diseased or debt collectors turn up, stuff like that. Their lands get seized, So I think you can very, very easily have a story in the lore / history. Where if we're talking, historical, it gives you. And I think that's something that puts people off historical, is this idea, it's already happened, I don't know what to do. And you've got a whole scope of human history to pick from, and you're telling me that you can't find, you can't think of something that's not on Wikipedia. There's a lot of especially when it comes to scenarios. I think again, a lot of people with mass battles think you've just got to line up both armies and smash them into each other. But there's so much that you can do with scenarios to make things interesting. Bollocks to balancing. You make the scenario more interesting. Outnumber the opponent, but give the opponent the ability to defend and maybe dig defenses and change the battlefield a little bit, which is what me and Ken did. I took two brigades against his 4 with my Hanoverians that refused to move against the Imperial Guard. We were playing that hours and hours. So I think for me it was. For me, I think with I know it was great. That's when you bought you that kebab and you nearly died.
Yeah.
But for me, the benefit of skirmish gaming, because I enjoy mass battles and I enjoy skirmish gaming. I get a hankering to do mass battles. Like right now, I really want to play more Soldiers of Napoleon, and I always want to play the Wars of the Roses. But I also like the idea of putting out a village and the village being the battlefield. And running around it, things and and searching buildings and doing all that. And I don't know if that's my RPG-esque kind of thing liking that with the individuals, but I don't know. I just find it fun. In an evening, it is easier to crack out skirmish. A Dead Man's Hand.
Yes,
I played 3 games of Dead Man. Actually, that's what I did. I did. I played 3 games of Dead Man's Hand last week against my mate Kev. We did from the new. So he hadn't played the new version of Dead Man's Hand, so he come around and we played 3 scenarios, and he tried out his gang. I tried Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, and they went out like Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid as well, because they were the only ones left on the table. He was using the other 7 from the new version of the Magnificent 7 with Denzel Washington.
I've not seen that.
Oh, it's good. I
liked
it.
Yeah, it's not true. Ethan Hawke. No, what's his name? Vincent. What's his second name? The guy who plays Kingpin in Daredevil. Full Metal Jacket. Private Pile. Yeah. His character is amazing in it.
Yeah, he plays it really well, doesn't he?
Yeah, I enjoyed it for what it was.
Right, I'll add it to the list for this weekend. Then that's it's
definitely worth a watch.
Yeah. But sorry, we're in a bit off track now.
I think you're about skirmish games, that they are, especially the size that we play, or the ones that I play. Hope might be playing a bit more. Well, like I say, when we had this game on Saturday, it was an introduction learning game, but straight away, my mate was developing a narrative from the very beginning, just looking at the figures I'd given him, who they were, what they were doing in this game. And I think I love that about the really small scale skirmish, the sort of four figure aside games. I love that. I really do. I think that really appeals to me. And Space Weirdos gives you the scope to do that, because there's literally no background, there's no lore, there's no fluff, there's no nothing. You just make it all up yourself. And the rules allow you to pretty much do anything you want, which again, to me, is a massive benefit. I just think it's you're not constrained by anything. I actually picked, when I was at Flanks on Saturday, I actually picked up that as a book by John Lambshead, and it's just called Sci-Fi Skirmish Scenarios, and it's just a book of scenarios you can apply to any skirmish sci-fi game you want. It's not game specific. I've been reading it yesterday and today. Really interesting. I can see loads of things in there that we'll be using for games of Space Weirdos. My mate wants to get into actually play Stargrave as well, which I've never played. Love the figures, just never played the game.
I made the mistake of reading. So I've done the opposite to like what you've done, Steve, in regards to what we were saying about going to, like, skirmish games and stuff like that. But in the last week and things, I made the mistake of reading Agincourt again.
Oh, is that why you were asking about that online?
Yeah, I read Agincourt.
I thought there was something something might have prompted.
Let me try this. Go and read. I'll send you. Go and read Battle Song by Ian Ross. Okay, which is set in the Second Barons' War. There's 3 of them. And it kind of follows this guy who starts as a squire to this kind of a bit of a bastard knight, and then
Then I'll swear a lot more because you got me into something else.
Yep.
Yeah, I know. That's why I don't want to do it. But no, I'll tell you now. It's just like, Agincourt. Oh, naughty.
Well, you might as well wait for Wargames Atlantic to release their 10mm Grand Battle plastics.
Yes.
Kind of the thought of. That's kind of what I was thinking about doing, to be fair. So yeah, but then again, I do like the idea of having men at arms shoulder by shoulder, because that's another thing I would do differently. Is I would, do you know how like I'd normally base them like men at arms? I instead of doing it like that, I'd probably compact maybe 8 figures on a or 10 on a.
Like we did to the Billman.
Yeah. Yeah, so
you haven't sold your Wars of the Roses stuff, have you?
No, why?
Oh, good, because I was about to say, if you sold it and you haven't offered it or given it to me, I'll come over there and be very upset.
No, still got them.
But you sold your 100 Years War. You sold your 100 Years War stuff. Yeah,
I did. Yeah, I sold the 100 Years War stuff. Yeah, that went. I wasn't. To be fair, I wasn't happy with how I painted it, and I would do it differently now. Learning new things and basing differently, and do you know what I mean? It's just 100. It's just one of them things you learn over time, isn't it? But yeah, that mercenary kit's so good. From
The
Perry.
Perry's one, I do like that. I've used that mainly for turnip stuff, but I have painted. Remember, I started those Burgundians many years ago. I did enjoy painting them. Scott, didn't end up taking it anywhere. So Ken's mentioned there about painting. What are the benefits of sort of the modeling hobby aspect of it? What would you say from a mass battle, big battle perspective? What are the benefits from a painting or model? Yeah, for modeling perspective.
Yeah, I would say production lines. I guess you can set a production line much easier. It's a bit more. What's the word I'm looking for? Oh, Christ, what's the word I'm looking for? Not more standard, but
consistent.
Consistent is one of them. You tend to paint it. Well, I did anyway. My Napoleonics were all painted at one time because I needed them all to play a game. So the painting standard's not different over time. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So like instead of doing another warband in a couple of years ahead, if I've painted my whole Napoleonic army within a year, my painting standard wouldn't have fluctuated that much. But if I wait 3 or 4 years and paint, I don't know, 10 or 20 Dead Man's Hand Cowboys thing, and I look at my latest one to my first one, there's gonna be a massive difference that I'm gonna notice. Does that make sense?
That happens a lot to me. I repainted most of my Old West figures, the plastic gunfighters. I painted them 4 years. Was it 4 years ago? And I've repainted most.
Is that how long that was?
Yeah, it was 2001. I think it was 2001. Didn't like them, so repainted them, and that's definitely a thing where I play a game where there's less figures, and you can spend a bit more time on it, and you revisit them a couple of years later, and you don't like them. That happens so much to me. I don't like the look of figures, and end up repainting them. Whether it's a benefit or not, probably not to my not to my time and space anyway. Again, I think it's obvious from a modeling thing with a small skirmish game is you can paint a warband in a day, a weekend. Mind you, I know Dom can paint an army in a weekend. Well, that's an outlier.
Yeah, I just did those. I just did these Normans in a couple of days. But I mean, a lot of the time when I'm painting a unit for a mass battle game, I have an idea about how I want the unit to look, and it's more about the overall look of it, the form they're taking, how the basing is done. So, like with my Romans, how I curve the edges of the units to give the impression that they're fine. Because nothing annoys me. Actually, no, there's a lot that annoys me more. Actually, I shouldn't really get on my my high horse about that. But when units on the side, everyone's got them facing forward. I just like having a couple of guys, just to the side. They're looking at what's going on the side. So I thought, if you have your units facing around a little bit. I always like sticking archers on the edges, or guys throwing things or things like that. So they're sticking them down. Just to change things up a little bit. So when I'm painting units for those kind of things, that's what I'm thinking of in the art is how is this going to look. So with my Great Northern War stuff, it was all very much like how is this going to line up? Because individually those figures aren't painted, I would say, to the same standard that I would paint, for example, the ones that I've just done, because they're bloody loads of them. The printer was what do you say, Ken? Printer go brr. So the printer was going, they were just chucking Russians off like a production line. They were spray painting them green because that was the predominant uniform color, and then just picking out details, and going along. So I was thinking very much about that. Whereas, bless you, but it comes to skirmish games or something else, I prefer to think about because you're going to have the model viewable from all angles, because you normally in 360 vision, and the model needs to get up and do things like these guards at Traitor's Toll. I spent ages on the guards, not so long on the townsfolk, but you're going to be focusing on the individual a lot more. So you do focus more time on them.
For me, that's a big thing. I like to if I do like Kit Basham 4 Space Raiders of the Doomed or something like that. I love making the individual creations, especially the Doom, because I went completely mad when I was painting those bits and pieces from everywhere. But from somebody that, I mean, I paint and model more than the game, so the benefit for me is I get to enjoy that aspect of it more than the actual gaming side. I think coming up with a really unique creations for games like that, where you can afford to take the time to spend, you know, an extra couple of hours on each figure. Yeah, it just goes a long way to again, just improving the game for me and improving, you know, the modeling and painting perspective of it a lot. So with big games, and like you said, you plan ahead. Do you often think of what the whole thing's going to like, not just the individual unit, but the whole army all lined up, all arrayed in the battlefield?
Yeah, 100% for me. That's definitely one of the bonuses I would say. Just to 100%. That's probably one of the main bonuses. Just to see everything, even when you finish painting it, or just having it just on the table, just looking at it, it's just like that was a bit of an achievement just doing that. Which is a nice thing. It's like for me, I'm like it was last Crackcom, Blood Red Skies.
Oh yeah,
bit me like a bitch. It's bit me like a biatch. Hence why I'm putting a JU-52 together right now. So I've got a whole box now, just dedicated to Blood Red Skies, and I've probably painted 6, 12, 18, 24, 30 planes so far. I'm in the middle of doing these and hopefully get some more hurricanes. But I want to make it so when I get them all out on their flying stands, they're all there. Each individual air forces has its own thing. You've got the Luftwaffe, you've got the RAF, you've got. I'm going to do some Italians as well, and I'm going to do United States Army Air Force. And I'm just going to make it so that I can just basically do any sort of scenario during the war I want. It's like I don't just want 3 Heinkel's. I want 20 Heinkel's. So when they say 20 plus bandits, I want to fly 20 Heinkel's through the game. You know, even though everything don't get shot down, because everything doesn't get shot down, does it?
No.
You know what I mean? Not everything got shot down. It's just like, what damage can you do? That sort of thing. So it's not a case of must kill everything. It's just that, again, I'm linking it back to the scenario again of the overall aspect of seeing everything. And that's what I think sometimes with that big war game does have its advantage. Just like you can do, certain game systems work really well either way. So I think, to be fair, I think Blood Red Skies is one of them. I think it works well. Is small. You could just do 6v6 or 3v6 or whatever.
Or have a massive.
Or you just have a massive game and aircraft coming on at different points, in scenario and stuff like that. Debating on things. It's like I was saying about all my rule sets, and really going into depth about things and doing like roll-offs. So, like for example, like. Okay, so it's the war. We're starting the Battle of Britain off. Okay, someone's the Luftwaffe, someone's the RAF. What do I want to do? We're starting with a small scale. There's going to be a small skirmish thing further away, right? So the guy's going to get a choice. What do you want to attack? Convoys, airfields, or radar stations? Because that was historically what happened. What order do you want to do it in? And if he says radar stations, for example, okay, so go radar stations. Just realistically, Stukas only. So you get some Stukas, you go and attack a radar station, and the RAF player would roll random to say, you know, how many squadrons they're going to send up. So how many sixes, basically. They might only send 1, they might send 5. But the shitty thing is, when the next scenario comes, because those planes have already been used, they can't then scramble for the next lot of stuff to be rearming. Yeah,
so it's like a knock-on effect.
Yeah, knock-on effect, mass battle sort of thing, and it's that's why one thing about mass battle that I do like is you can make it play along a lot more, and I think it's a bit more forgiving sometimes than maybe a skirmish game in regards to the amount of units you can have on the table at once. I think so sorry, I'm waffling. Go for it.
Here you go. So here's Alex at the Joy of Six a few years ago. He had 18 hankles moving across the table. There we go.
Oh, it's just heaven.
That's right up your Strasser, isn't it, Ken?
Yeah, exactly.
18.
Some 109 escorts. That sounds that does sound really good. It'd be nice to have 50 plus bandits, but Jesus Christ.
That's a game I really need to look at again, because I've actually got a German. I think I painted 6 or 7 Messerschmitts years ago, and we never played it. My mate's got the Spitfires. We just don't know, just never got around to playing them. I think I might have to revisit that soon.
Yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it.
It does look good. Have we got any news?
I got some bits. I've got some bits. Hang on a second.
We'll do it now. A bit of a break. We'll do some news. Where's the news thing? Let's have a look for the news. I can't find the news thing. Oh, it's there. There we go. News, everybody. News. News.
3 things. So, what did I see? I'm going to get the one that I care about the least out the way first. Alia Miniatures. I only did this because I was hoping Alex was going to be watching. So they've so you know that little game Trench Crusade that
yes,
that some people like, some people don't like, some people just like to watch what everyone's reactions. So they've now previewed some, I assume these are going to be STLs from Westphalia Miniatures for the Norse World War.
What?
Really?
These are well, it is, isn't it? Because it's treasure. These are the children of Idris. These are the children of Idrisil, which I think sounds like a cool band. All right,
yes.
I think it's got some definite like Viking folk vibes, black metal going on there. Don't know what you make. So,
Trench
there's that.
stuff.
Yeah, but this is where they're basically made them for Trench Crusade, haven't they?
Yes.
This is what they've done them for. I mean, I'm sure someone can do an awesome paint job with it. I'm just confused. Hang on.
Could I use them in a historical scenario?
What I love about this one is this one is smashed together. I mean, what's he wearing? He's wearing like the jacket looks like something the Red Baron would be wearing. The I don't even know what the gun is. I'm not very good. Is that a Mauser? I know. I'm not
yeah.
It's
he's using a fucking poleaxe from the wars from Karen London, and then he's wearing like a Norse or Carolingian style helmet. So I love. I mean, this is straight out of Hellboy for me. I have no interest, but I know some people like it, and I'm sure some people could do some awesome looking paint jobs on these. But I wanted to share. I like to share. As my youngest daughter tried telling my oldest on her birthday on Sunday, sharing is caring, as she tried to get her presents, and then it was pointed out to my youngest that she doesn't like to share and she doesn't care. So it's not really. It doesn't really apply. My second piece of news is that Firelock Games are releasing. Oh, I'm going to get flack this. Faction packs for Port Royal, which is the more skirmishy version of Blood and Plunder, which is already
a skirmish game,
small battle skirmish game. So these are the French Buccaneers.
Ooh,
I like the pig on the
that's
grill. These are the Maroons. They're quite cool. Quite like those. These are the Jamaican Pirates.
Oh, sweet.
Quite like that.
They're nice.
And then I can't remember who these ones are. Let's just say they're Spanish.
Look at all that lace.
Look at all that lace. I like the desk. I'm not quite sure. I like a desk with That's
not sure the benefits of a desk during a skirmish encounter, but there we go. No, they look really nice, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's those. And then I don't know. I know this has been put up in the group. I saw this, and I think people are going to be very interested, which is that War Games Atlantic have got the rights, and they are releasing a game called Sharp's Rifles. And so they previewed this, which is the first two, which is the 28mm version of Sharp, which comes with
quite a thingy version, isn't it? It's good.
Two different poses. So you can either have him with the Sean Bean look, the head on the left, or how he sort of looks in the book with the scar and all of that. So when dark hair, well, he painted him with dark hair, obviously. The fucking sculpt doesn't have dark hair. But this is on for pre-order now, and this is out sometime in September. But this comes as well with a 4mm version of Sharp, a statuette paint, which is pretty cool. Now, James, I know you're watching. Is that an acceptable tactical rock because Sharp is on it? Is that
acceptable rock?
Or is it, I mean, that's excellent. So they're going to be releasing more in focus. You're going to have Harris and Hagman and everything else. Andy Hobday is doing the rules.
Oh, cool.
And they've released it today because apparently today is Sharp's birthday. Now, I did see someone comment on the War Games Atlantic post, but Sharp doesn't know when his birthday is. And their reply was, "This came straight from Bernard Cornwell." So,
fuck you.
Yeah, that's that's like saying because Tolkien said so. So it'd be interesting. There you go, Steve. Could that convince you to paint some Napoleonics to have?
As long as they haven't got stupid white trousers, I wouldn't mind painting them. It's just the abundance.
Yeah, they can shoot the ones with the white trousers.
That's fine, then I'll do that. Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see. So what's coming out for that? There's no information on the game that I could see.
No, it's nothing. No.
It's just there we are. I am curious, and I think it's really interesting that he's taken this sort of because I think there is actually like a whole Sharp Properties license. So it's interesting, with wargaming. So that's quite cool. We shall see. Just more of the green bastards to bloody
kill.
Nah.
Someone
needs to write about a plucky Voltigeur on the other side. That's like the anti-Sharp.
He's followed him around in all the books. He's just missing his chance every time.
Just missing, yeah.
I remember those things I wrote years ago about Blunt, and it was the Turnip 28 version of Sharp.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I might have to write some more of those. They were quite interesting.
Oh, I should point out, as Paul has put it, it is 20 quid for 3 models. One of them is 54mm. They're plastic, and I guess it's Sharp. So, there we go. That's I guess price is in the. It'd be interesting to see maybe if it's you're paying for skill level like in GW.
It's one-off purchase, isn't it? You're not going to buy 2 sets of.
You find like a whole unit of 90.
Clone
Sharp. Just Sharp. Anyway, there we go. That's what I saw.
Tell you what, War Games Atlantic are still knocking it out the park with their releases.
They are, aren't they? Well, because at some point their grand battle scale rules, their fantasy rules, those will be released. They got a box set coming out for Sahelian published. Is it called Heiho? The samurai battle game is, and they're actually doing a box set, I believe, with their 10mm samurai and these mass battle samurai rules. So they've got a box set coming out for that in the future. It's just on their list.
Yeah, they've also got a modern civilian modern. I know that they've got modern operators planned as well.
Okay.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
And they're still doing all their 3D printing stuff, aren't they?
Like I said, I'm convinced they don't sleep. They just do not sleep. They just work 24 hours a day, just constantly.
I could just think about Mr. Burns, where he's got all of the monkeys chained to a desk and trying to write like his novel.
It would certainly explain a lot anyway to the stuff they're cranking out. It's just, massive amounts of stuff coming out from War Games Atlantic. Like I say, whenever they post them, I'm always like, right, what's next? Because you can never really second guess what they're doing. It's always something you least expect. It just appears from nowhere.
I'm sure there was something that War Games Illustrated were doing, and I've forgotten what it was. I'm sure they were doing something, or there was some news. I can't remember. I'm sure someone will remember there was something in the. I thought there was something
to do with the magazine.
I would. Oh, you'd
imagine so. You'd like to think so, wouldn't you? Yeah.
Imagine
you'd certainly like to think it would be about the magazine. Yes. Right. Going back to the subject then, about the benefits of skirmish and grand scale gaming. What about teaching someone that's never played that scale before?
Ooh, interesting.
Scale of game, you mean?
Yeah.
What's the best way to teach them?
What are the benefits of teaching them that? I mean, without sounding elitist, what are the benefits of teaching someone? I don't know whether it even works. Whether there are benefits to teaching someone.
Well, like with any system, we don't want to get into discussion about rules, I guess, because I could take someone and speaking of, look, you mentioned War Games Atlantic, and not War Games Atlantic, War Games Illustrated and Yorkshire. I mentioned it, sorry. And then someone said faction. Unfortunately, yes, but that's because what it was listed on the product. I didn't know that the French are a faction.
Actually, Paul said, was it the book version of Ruckus?
Oh. They have they announced it? I don't know if they've announced it. The thing is, introducing someone to a small battle skirmish game can sometimes be a lot harder than introducing someone to mass battles, because it's more sometimes they're really granular, because like trying to introduce someone to play Infinity is one of the hardest things I've ever done. You get people. I'm training people to be archaeologists. That was easier than teaching someone how to play Infinity. All right, Christ, doing like most of the degrees that my lot come out with are easier than playing Infinity. Whereas I think playing a game, and I know it's designed this way, like Black Powder, is easy in my opinion. I'm not saying that makes it good. I'm not saying that makes it bad, but it's easier to introduce someone. And I think part of the appeal of showing someone, I think people think that they look at a big mass battle game, like they'll look at one of like Yorkshire's games and think that they need to have a degree, in astrophysics or whatever, because they're looking at all the charts, and it's just not the case. I'm not like talking him down a bit here, but do you know what I mean? It's all just down to system. I think the benefit of I'll let you talk. I want someone else to do that bit. You do it.
No, I think Robin's nailed it when he said, it's no difference. It's just based on the rules, which is, I even said it's true. I mean, you could look at, for example, Infinity. I mean, Infinity, when you look at it, there's not many figures on the board. It's a relatively small playing area. But from what I've heard, it's quite difficult to learn. It's not something you could teach. Not a game you could teach someone in 15 minutes.
Sorry. Yes, I know, but yeah.
So I
Your
mean,
large
yeah, I
ga-
mean,
I was going to say, your large scale games have all that sort of complexity as well. Like, what's that bloody game that Dom always bangs about that was better around in the 80s? Medieval thing. Not medieval, ancients. It was like
EBA.
EBA.
yeah, all that sort of stuff. I'd imagine just by the name it sounds complicated. So, like you say, it all depends on the rule set, doesn't it? Might be a bit easier, a bit less overwhelming for someone to go into a skirmish game the first time than a mass game, to not have to worry about all the different figures that so don't forget about things, I guess. So just to try and keep it a bit more streamlined, because when you think about it logically, if I think there is more an advantage for a skirmish, because that being one of them. Because if you are playing with, say, the Fellowship, you've got your nine guys. No matter what, you're not going to just play with 2 for a startup scenario. You play with the 9, okay, nine characters or whatever. But if you're playing a mass battle game, you're not going to get, I would say, 20 battalions out for your first ever game, are you? You're going to just get 3. So you can have a smaller version of the game the first time you play, but you can play the skirmish one at full size.
True, but I'll push back on there, because every single member of the Fellowship has got different might, will, and fate stats. They've all got their own individual special rules. They've all got their own individual special actions that they can take, and you've got that whole chapter which is like mighty blow, heroic shot, heroic move, and you've got to kind of leaf through all of those. So you've got 9 of those who've each got at least 3 actions they can take. So that's 27 actions. Between the 9 of them. Then you've got Gandalf and spells. What I'm trying to say is, I'm not just. I just think that on the face of it, you're looking. Oh yeah, there's only 9, and then wonder what he was doing then.
I got cramp.
What he was.
Ouchie.
But just say yes. Just the idea. Just okay. It's less models, but it doesn't reduce the complexity, does it?
Depends.
I thought that.
But again, it depends on the rule. Depends on the rule set, then again, doesn't it?
Yeah, no. I was just using the example you were using.
Yeah.
Of Lord of the Rings.
I gave it, for example, maybe Blood and Plunder or something, or no, I'll tell you the one straight away. Oh my God, Cowboys. Jesus.
Oh, Dead Man's Hand.
Yeah, Dead Man's Hand.
Dead Man's Hand is probably one of the easiest games that I've ever shown to introduce people, and I think that's because the basic core mechanic of roll d20, look at table, it's very, very easy. +1, -1. However, the interaction of the cards can take some time to get people to get their head around. Especially me, because I still lose and I can't do it properly. So
fucking cramp. Just shows I haven't sat down in a while. Fucking. Jesus.
You all done? Speaking of sort of skirmishy games, at Saturday at Phalanx, I just saw someone playing a game of Force on Force, which was, I mean, we've talked about it in the past. It was really difficult to get hold of the rule books these days, but it was great seeing it being played on the tabletop. It was a bit of a shock. I wasn't expecting to see that there, but yeah, I don't know how I've never played it. I don't know how complex that is. Right, let's have a look at some comments from the viewers. So for Andy, big one, how it all looks on the tabletop. Yeah, I think definitely a valid point there. As I've said, I don't play Napoleonics myself, and I've got no plans to. But when you see a full 28mm Napoleonic game on the table, flagged, big huge lines. I think
it's just a picture from where are we? This was one section of our battlefield in one of our last.
Yep.
So that's only the front part of the battlefield, and yeah. Although, look, you can see all my units not in square as they're about to get charged by those lancers. And to be fair, Soldiers of Napoleon isn't even a big game. No. You only play with about 4 brigades max. So
still looks impressive though. I mean, I think it was the second time when Warwick put it on at Crackcom. Yeah, I was mooching around for the day, but every time I walked past his table, I had to stop and have a bit of a gulp because it just looked nice. It just always looks impressive. And again, it's possibly one of my wargaming regrets that I never really Well, it wasn't something I ever took up, and never will. But I just haven't got the space. It's probably a big one. Benjamin, grand scale just has that wow factor you do not get from skirmish games. Yeah, I might have said earlier though. I think skirmish game, especially smaller skirmish games, rely a lot on the wow factor coming from the terrain.
For me, this is another thing. Is I'm more wow factor with the table than I am the minis now. So the table looks frigging incredible. I'm more interested in the game than I would be if the table looked poor and the minis look great. That's it's a weird one, isn't it? It's everyone's personal taste, isn't it?
Well, it's the first thing you see, though, isn't it? I mean, if you've got a small scale skirmish game or sort of a 2x2, 3x3, the first thing you're going to see is rather than line upon line of regiments all lined up on a table, you're going to see the scenery first. Exactly, which is why over the past sort of 2 months, I've really focused on improving my skirmish tables because I just want them to look better, I want them to look nicer. So I've spent a lot of time over the past few months just working on scenery, just to improve the overall look of my skirmish games.
Know that feeling, mate. Yeah. Been there, still there.
Yeah, Andy's got another valid point. There were skirmish games you can't really go to town with the scenery. Again, Martin said that before about you can really go multi levels, lights.
To be fair, Martin's look good though, and he does mass battles. It just depends on how much time you want to spend setting one up, doesn't it? Because I really like what you do for roads now with the scat. You don't use physical. Yeah.
Every time I put a video up now of those, I get guaranteed like 2 questions. Ask me how I do it, and then I tell them, and I think they think I'm taking the piss.
You just spread it out.
Well, to spread it out, it's because I put coffee in it because of the smell. So I put coffee in it because I thought that makes it smell like less. Well, especially if like a cat is pissed near it, But when you're doing, but your considerations are different, aren't they? When you're doing stuff on for a mass battle game of any, or even it's I guess some World War II stuff, you've got to consider: can a unit on a base fit down here? Can a tank fit for it down here? What if I want a unit to occupy this this building, can I fit, for example, a battalion that's made up of 4 60 by 40 bases in here? So your consideration is a little bit different. And just like we've talked about this before about the compromise on scale, just because we're going, we've got, I don't know, between 24 and 36 guys representing 500-600, but we still just have one house representing one house. So you have to, you play around with it. So, for example, we'll be setting up Robin and I for St Albans. Half our we're going to have a whole 1 6x4, which will essentially be entirely town, including the part of the abbey, the marketplace, and all of that. And then you're going to have all of the bits outside where the defences were. But there's still no way we're going to be able to recreate all of it. So we're just going to take key parts of it and just try and form those just for the look of the game. But you've got to have a unit. It's got to be able to move down the board. Whereas in the skirmish game or smaller scale, you've got one base. You can fit them down alleyways. You can do it.
Yeah. Well, that's what leading on to what Robin said. A really good skirmish game board can look so lifelike, and that's true. I think if you've got a skirmish game where it's not you're not talking hundreds of figures aside, but a really focused skirmish game, I think it can you can really add the level of detail into skirmish games to make them look lifelike, which is why I've been concentrating more recently on improving my own scenery collection, because it's not something I don't like making scenery. Which is why those tabletop ready MDF builds from war bases are an absolute godsend for me. You just glue them together and you've got buildings. There's no painting. Absolutely really good. I actually bought some more of them on Saturday as well. So one from Andrew: agree in the scenery, you can almost cover a 2 foot by 2 foot ball with so much fun and line up scopes going terrain that it's just beautiful. Yeah, absolutely. That's what I'm going to be aiming for with my my more rural looking stuff, rather than just my sci-fi looking stuff. Epic scale, I'm not having to worry about that guy moaning due to your epaulets being the wrong color. That's definitely that's definitely a benefit until they start getting the magnifying glasses out. Yeah, this is a big one for me. The biggest benefit of skirmish games is it fits my limited time on a club night. We generally get 3 hours, and for me, that's so. Again, as someone with limited time, limited space, knowing that you're going to be able to start the game and finish the game, in a relatively short time. I mean, when the game we played on Saturday, the actual game lasted, 50 minutes, and by the start of turn 4, there was only 3 figures left on the table. Everyone else was dead, because it's so brutal, and no one. If you get to the end of turn 4 still alive, it's a bit of a rarity. So with that, you can get in this sort of 2, 3, 4 games in an afternoon, which I really like. Yeah, again, John just said, Condo Apartment Life pushes either skirmish or small scale if you want epic battles. Certainly does for me. I mean, I can get a 6x4 table in my living room, but it's a faff, and I'd rather just play a small skirmish game. Matt, as a young'un that did the Games Workshop thing, I always found historicals really tempting and loved the spectacle of them. I was always put off by the fact the players I saw seemed to be so grumpy.
Yeah. It's a fair comment.
Good comment, Matt. So it is 2 from Simon. So the best thing about grand scale games is that sense of sweep of battles from history that look a bit like paintings hung in the National Gallery. Again, I think that is definitely a benefit. If you show somebody all the flags, all the banners, massed ranks of troops, it's visually inspiring. I just think you can't help but get enthused or inspired by it. I think that definitely goes a long way. And the second one, the best thing about skirmish games is personal narrative of heroic characters who develop their own story like they've walked off the page of a book. Again, another really valid point. With characters growing as they go through campaigns, like for Blood Bowl, players develop their own characteristics as they develop skills, as they develop sort of the reputation for, be able to dodge through 3 tackle zones before running and scoring a touchdown. Or if you saw mine, not being able to pick the ball up, even if someone's not within 60 feet of you. I'm honestly, there's one thing. When I play Blood Bowl, if I've got to pick the ball up for any reason, I can guarantee I'm either going to fail or need a reroll. It's just one of those things I constantly fail at. That, or where you think you've got a guaranteed knockdown and you just roll 2 or 3 skulls. That's definitely my my history of Blood Bowl. Benefits of Space Weirdo style skirmish gaming: no sodding rivet counters. Can't argue with that, John. Again, Matt, I enjoy both kinds of games, but as someone that enjoys painting a lot, I appreciate a game that allows me to lavish attention on a handful of minis. Martin, do you think that's why Bushido is so popular?
Because the miniatures are so nice.
Yeah.
I mean, it's part of it. I mean, they've created a game which is a fantasy war game, but it's got enough of a sort of historical influence that like Dom's got Dom went for the fish people. But I thought he would have gone just for the ones that look more straightforward samurai. But no, I do think that. I think also part of the success of Bushido is that there's no leader miniatures, because so you can just have whatever you like in your force. You could have there is no boss, if that makes sense. So yeah, I think the miniatures are the big. I think the miniatures are the main pull of Bushido, but they do have some like the combat mechanics are very unique. It's one of my favorite combat systems. But that would, for example, that combat system would not just. I can't even think of an equivalent way of doing that in a mass battle, because it's a bluffing game, because it's meant to mimic a sword fight. We're picking how many dice to put in defense and how many to put into attack, and we're holding them out like that, and then you reveal and you say, I have not put any into attack, I've put them all into defense, and oh shit, you've done the same, so we're just defending each other. Or the thing that you did where your Birdman got fried by Haley's brother's lightning spell, and then it arced down the board. So it's a very unique game. And in that one, I think I can't decide if it was game. I don't know the answer. I would imagine him. I think it was Mini's first game, second. I don't know. That might be a disservice, but I think in that case, yeah, I think the Minis are the people that draw them in. The fact that there's a really solid game there, it's pretty good as well.
Cool. It's a question I've got for you, Martin. Are you basing your Great Northern War figure 6 to a base using wiggly bases?
Oh God, no. Well, I'm using the wiggly bases. Always the wiggly bases. But no, I am, because I'm using the larger ones, the FK and P6, which are the ones I normally use for cavalry. So, and I'm getting anything from sort of 7 up to, I think I've got one with 12 on the pace. So, and that's and then so they've got a bit of clearance at the front because I've got pikes. Some of mine have got pikes, so I wanted that bit of a longer base. But I've got like men kneeling, and then another far behind, and then another one behind that. So yeah, I think the average would probably be 9 on the base. I think that'd probably be the average at the moment.
And the wiggly bases can't go
wrong.
And
always the wiggly bases.
Can't go wrong with a wiggly base. A question from Andy: would too much terrain get in the way for a mass battle game?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Depending on
I guess it depends what the rule system is. I mean, in the visual thing, I always find it distracting when units are kind of like the bases are up in the air because they're stuck on some terrain or something. But that's just a personal thing. There's nothing wrong with that. Unless it's on my table. And then, so yeah, it can do. I think you just have to think about how you're setting the terrain up. That's all, and just make it accommodate what scale you're playing at. If you're playing at, I don't know, 18 mil, just have appropriate scenery and just set it up appropriately. Yeah, that's
enough for my 10 mil Midgard stuff, or the 10 mil fancy arms I'm working on. Yeah, what I'm planning for that is I'm not doing buildings. I'm just doing sort of rocky outcrops, forests. So I've got that big castle, aquarium thing. But for the most part, it's just going to be forests and rocks. I won't be adding any buildings to it. But again, it's all down to, like you say, for the game you've got planned at Crackcom. There's going to be lots of scenery, but it's going to be so that the units can still move in between it.
Yeah.
So So it's still going to be a lot of scenery, but yeah, it's just how you approach it, how you want the figures to interact with it. So the hobby brush, I built a table for 6 mil sci-fi years ago, put a totally unplayable cliff on one end of it, purely because people would see the cliff long before they could see and appreciate the models of the game. Well, yeah, it was like when that Midgard game that James put on. It's Lord of the Rings, so I can't tell you anything about it. But it had a big, massive castle, and so anyone approaching that table would have seen that first, because it stood out quite a bit from what I remember. It was huge castle. It was like a backdrop as well. But yeah, I thought that as a great example of scenery on a mass battle game. Again, I've got no idea what it was, but it looked rather good. Which was right. Let's have a look at what some people have posted in the Facebook group over the past week or so. As always, there's a link to the Facebook group in the description below. Answer the questions. People have been answering questions recently.
Yeah. They have been.
Thanks for doing that. It's we don't get shouted at by Dom then for letting all kinds of people in that ask the questions. And another thing as well, if you are inviting someone to the group, ask them to apply directly, because if you invite someone, they don't get the questions, and then their invite gets turned down. So always bear that in mind if you are inviting a friend or comrade to join the Facebook group. Just ask them to visit the group and join directly. That was it. The Battle of Five Armies looked bloody marvelous.
Oh yes, it had the sort of the Tolkien-esque drawn backdrop, didn't it?
Yes, I think it was really quite striking. Right, let's have a look at what some people have been painting. Like I said, really good mix this week, as usual, of different bits and pieces that people have been working on. Really, really good stuff. First up, it's not a picture as such, but massive. If you're still in the chat, congratulations to Alid, who won an award at the weekend. Yes. Best painted army at the Welsh Nationals.
Yeah, well done.
5-star games. Absolutely well deserved. And again, he said it's not something, he'd normally do, but from posting it in the Facebook group and getting feedback from others and seeing what others are posting, inspired him to do what he does and paint armies.
There we go.
Awesome. And absolutely brilliant achievement. I know he spent the weekend at the tournament in some pretty horrific heat. So, the endurance was there from Al, but that is an absolutely fantastic achievement. You pop across to the Facebook group. Both of Alad's armies are in the Facebook group. Have a look. Just demonstrates what you can do with Flames of War armies. Absolutely brilliant. And an absolutely brilliant accolade, Alad. Well done, and congratulations from everybody at the PCP for your cracking award.
Indeed.
Oh, that does remind me. Sorry. The information for the painting competition at Crackcom this year will be released very, very soon. It's absolutely happening. I've seen the proof it's happening. Dan and Stu are going to be administering it. I think it's going to be the same. I'll confirm it. In fact, I'll try and confirm it for next week. But it should be the same 3 categories as last year, which was single mini, large mini or vehicle, and better unit. And that's any description, any scale. That's essentially the three categories. So we're looking forward to seeing that.
There were some cracking entries last year, weren't there?
Yeah,
there was some
really awesome stuff.
Awesome stuff. So yeah, I think I might be taking up 1 or 2 of those categories myself.
We're not allowed.
Yeah,
we're not allowed to win.
We're not allowed to win.
You're not allowed to win. We're not allowed to win.
Damn it. That's just ruined all my. I'll just make a sock puppet.
You can still put them in. I put them in last year. Just to have them
there. Okay, so actual miniatures now. Again, someone will have to explain what this is to me because I ain't got a clue. It's someone called, is it Eoma?
That's AMA.
I thought it was Elma, but
AMA.
It should be Elma. Yeah, Elma would be amusing. Yeah, that's AMA from Lord of the Rings. That's very cool.
That's him. So that's him standing and him on his horse as well.
Yes, because you can mount and dismount.
Yeah. Good stuff. Definitely a new one on me. Up next is Edward with some Windy Boat Game madness. This is his first attempt, his first ship.
Oh, nice.
That's his first. That's insane. That's really cool.
I know. My first one didn't look like that. Mine looked like it'd been stomped on several times. But that is brilliant for a first attempt. That is absolutely fantastic. The rigging just looks absolutely spot on.
Really cool.
So nobody else is tempted to join Edward in a foray into the Windy Boat Game.
Never say never.
I could say never. I will never be painting these ever again in my entire life because they almost sent me a bit funny. Up next is Ashley with some Ancient Britain Command.
Cool.
Oh, nice. That's really cool. Really like that green on the tunic.
Yes.
That's really cool.
He posted three different command bases, but this one struck me because I just love the colours on the main guy at the front and the fact that his shield matches what he's wearing, and he's got really funky trousers on as well. He's got patterned trousers. They look really nice.
Yeah. That's quite cool. Yeah,
very cool.
I like that.
Good stuff. I had to post this from Medieval Wargamer Nick. Battle of Poitiers.
Oh yes, I saw his.
Look at that!
That's very cool.
See that would inspire people, wouldn't it?
Yes.
If
Nick's
you're-
stuff absolutely does. Yeah.
Yes. I mean, seeing all that lined up on a table is just. I mean, if you want to sell the benefits of mass scaled gaming to someone, you could do worse than visit Nick's channel because it's very, very good.
Oh, so many flags, so much.
I know.
Livery. So good. So good.
That is so nice. My God.
Oh
that is
no, this is not helping my 100 Years War thing.
colours and flags. It just just got
Oh,
everything.
thank God they're French. Oh, they're French.
On to a bit of Napoleonics now from Jason with this Peninsular War.
Oh, nice.
Royal Artillery. They're really nice. I do like them.
Man.
Always appreciate some big guns.
Big guns.
Very nice. Yep, really nice. Just well Dom isn't here because he'd be mentioning weird shit. This is from Newsface Studio, who's a massive advocate.
I think I know what this is going to be.
Of Zona Alpha, it is a weird game, but it's fantastic. And he's done a bit of a group shot. Look at that.
That's awesome.
That is very cool.
That is
Dom
so
would
good.
definitely be saying weird shit right now.
He would be. His mind would be struggling to grasp what's on the screen right now.
So cool.
That is so. What I love about that is just a mix of everything. There's like modern military. There's that big thing in the middle. It looks like a potato with eyes. It's just everything about it is just weird. There's just I don't know. And the scenery that he's done for it as well, just absolutely spot on. That just looks so good. Again, another game I'm going to have to really try and get into again because I've actually got the rules. I've just never got around to playing it. But
reminds me a lot of oh my God, that video game Stalker.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, Zona Alpha. I mean, I think it's set in sort of that part of the world. And there's the zone you go into. You know get salvaged. There's all kinds of weird gribblies and beasts and mutants and things in there. But yeah, because I've had the book for years, but just never got around to playing. I think with the scenery and the figures I got these days, I should be able to play that at some point. Yeah. Right, that's my mission for the next 4 weeks is get into Zona Alpha. Back to a bit of no mouse now. Pat has been painting ancient Greeks.
Ooh, very nice.
They're nice. Very, very nice.
Amazing. That's very cool.
Yeah. I think he said he was working on Greeks again tonight, so he's obviously in the midst of a ancient Greeks project. But they're really cool. Keep posting your progress, Pat. We really enjoy seeing those. Philip has been painting some knights. Very nice, very colourful, very colourful knights.
Yeah,
they're really nice.
It's quite. I do like the helmets. What style helmet are they, Martin?
What do you mean? What the ones with
they're
great helms.
They're grey helms, yeah.
Great. They're great helms. I think they're the Victrix one. They're the Victrix ones with the and you get like that's the kind of stuff they'd have worn like at a tournament or are those War Games Atlantic? There might be War Games Atlantic actually.
So they're worn at a tournament, yeah.
Yeah, you wouldn't really want to wear those in a battle, but they look awesome. Some people did though. Actually, to be fair, Richard Lionheart did. He wore a silly helmet in the battle. Yeah, they're lovely. Really, really nice. I really like the heraldry.
Yeah, they are very, very nice. I really like this from Tony. Got some Confederate prisoners.
Hey, that's very cool.
I don't know. It just struck me as not something you ever see. A lot of sort of prisoner models, but that looks really nice. They've got a suitably dejected look upon their faces because they've been taken prisoner.
Poor old Johnny Reb.
But yeah, really nice. That's again something a bit unique. Something you don't often see very often. Okay, up next, back to Napoleonics. Kellerman's Corps Command from Tony. Very nice, very colourful. Greens and yellows and reds on the trumpeter bloke there. I really like the basing on that as well. Just everything about that is really, really good.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. No, I like that. That's sweet. Nice
think,
use of the colours.
Again, Tony posted a lot of his Napoleonic updates. So if you want to see more of Tony's work, have a bit of a look through the Facebook group. Sticking with Napoleonics, this I don't have the words for. So Steve has been painting some Scots greys.
Oh God, yeah, I saw that. Well, he said he had a lot of trouble with the sculpts and the horses because there was loads of pitting on them. Like those are Perry sculpts. He got them. He said there was loads of pitting on the horses, so he did his best to fix them, file them. I assume he had to green stuff some things as well. I mean, they are phenomenal. Like, if I'd received those, they were like that. Now they just put me off, and I'm like, right, I can't do them. And they look just amazing. I just like the mute sort of. They're not quite muted. I just like the tone. It's really warm kind of like color palette.
That's what's beautiful. Yeah, that's what stood out when I saw these, is that they've just got that look about them where, I don't know, it's a really awesome effect that he's achieved in painting those. I mean, again, just the sheer amount of bright colors just gives me chest pains, the thought of painting them. But they do look really, really nice. Fantastic work on those, and fantastic work from everybody who's posted up in the Facebook group. Let's have a look at some of the comments. Yeah. So congratulations again to Alid for his award at the weekend. Thoroughly deserved. And again, check out the Facebook group to see Alid's armies. Just it's always good when someone in the community is recognised for their hard work, and it's always good. Didn't ask with I think they were, Steve. I think they were based. I think Alid bases his tanks, so he does them the correct way.
Not according to the PCP survey.
Where's base tanks up to in Ken's World Cup at the moment? Have they been eliminated?
I don't know. In a minute, isn't it? It's factions versus no index in rule books. So yeah, I think that's the current one.
So yes, so Alid has confirmed they were most definitely based, as all good tanks should be based. Only reason to do tiny boats to enter a competition, win, and say it's because I rigged it.
Aha!
Oh,
God.
He's here all night, folks. He's here all night. What else he got?
What'd you get done tonight, Martin?
I have created 2 army lists and stuck together 4 Saxons and a healer, or a monk,
nice.
which will get painted up over the next sort of week or so, for use in multiple games. What about you guys?
Done 20 guardsmen have finished off, which is really cool. And I've just finishing the 3rd JU52, putting it together.
Nice.
So quite good.
But before, when you had those planes in your hand, I was like, "What the hell is he painting?"
Yeah, I know. But just for a size comparison, I'll show you. So, this is how cool. This is what I think they're really cool. So, that's a JU52. Okay.
Yep.
And that is a Spitfire.
Bloody hell.
Oh, cool.
So that's the size of aircraft. That's how big these JU52s are.
So I thought you'd been wandering into scale modelling when you were handling that thing earlier.
No, I'm swearing a lot.
I wonder what the hell it was. But no, it'd be good to see them painted up, Ken.
Yeah, I'll show you some Heinkel's next week. They're finished. I've finished.
Oh,
them,
cool.
So
I might have to dig mine out. They're in the stash somewhere. I can't remember what I did. I must have painted them about 6 years ago. I think I bought them, because I bought the Adolf Galland additional box as well, but one of the planes was
one of
because
the aces.
one of the planes that in the main box was beyond use, though. Its wings were so bent, it was like someone off Wacky, or Catch the Pigeon or something like that. So
Yeah.
it couldn't be rescued with warm water. But the rest were. I remember putting a lot of decals on them. There was so many decals to put on them. But
that is the painful part about these planes. It's marking them up. It's quite painful, but it's worth it in the end. It
is worth it in the end. It certainly does improve them. Right, we are at 10 o'clock, and that's the end for us. Thanks for everybody that joined us tonight. It was really cool getting your thoughts on the benefits of skirmish and grand scale gaming. Don't forget, we are sponsored by Boards and Swords Hobbies in Derby. Post code PCP5 when you're checking out to get an additional 5% off your already discounted order. Big thank you to everyone who's watching on the Catchup. Always appreciate it. Next week, what are we doing next week? Or
no idea.
No idea.
No idea. The original plan was that it was going to be Dom after me, but then obviously I've skipped a week, so it may be me if everything is still working.
I'm not here next week.
Okay.
So it'll be whoever you, Dom, and Steve. I'll be here the week after.
Yes. So, but we'll see. It'll be a surprise.
It'll be a very big surprise to see what the next PCP is going to be. Brilliant.
Exactly.
Thanks everyone for joining us. Have a safe week. Enjoy your hobbying, and we shall catch you all next week. See you now.
See you later. Bye bye.